Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Katy Walsh. I'm a film critic here in LA, and I'm so excited to moderate a conversation about this amazing film with the writer-director Rose Glass and the star Katy O'Brian. So please welcome them. Haven't quite figured out the temperature these times, these spring times. I'm so happy you two are here. I love this movie so much, and I'm so excited to talk to you about it. Congratulations, Katy. This is like such a superstar role for you. So excited to see what you do next. So. Rose, I love St. Maud, but this film is definitely a swerve away from that, which, you know, if you haven't seen St. Maud, it's about a nurse in England who has like religious fervor and obsession. What made you want to make like a desert crime noir for your second feature?
I think it all sort of just morphed into what it is quite gradually. So I think in the beginning, I just sort of knew I wanted to go into. I think I just brain. Second one, I think I'd sort of been working on it for so long, and there's a real kind of like nervousness and uncertainty about trying to get your first feature film off the ground. So I think just having finished that and got to the point where it actually was coming out, and I don't know, I had basically all this, it felt like a sort of wave of excitement and some sort of energy that wanted to come out. But I don't know, I just had like a feeling of wanting to do something that was sort of bombastic and a bit pulpy and maybe play with some sort of like genres and stuff that I hadn't, that I didn't feel as safe in maybe. And then just sort of had a very bare bones idea of a story about a bodybuilder who sort of goes through a kind of mental, physical unraveling while they're training for a competition. Teamed up with my co-writer, never co-written before. So it was all slightly more experimental kind of, then we just sort of felt the story out gradually and morphed into this thing.
Katy, I heard the story of how you sort of came to find out about this part, which is that, as I understand it, you saw a tweet that said we were looking for a queer female bodybuilder, and you were like, I need to be auditioning for this movie. Is that actually what happened?
Yeah, I had a fan sent me a tweet, and I was like, why have I not gotten this audition? Because I didn't know many actors that were bodybuilders or queer actors, and then, yeah, it's Rose Glass, it was age 24, it was Kristen Stewart, and I was like, yeah, I would like to work with them, that seems cool. So then I like did the douchiest thing ever and responded to the tweet with a picture of me working out. Which I hate taking pictures of myself working out because it feels gross.
This is the one time when a gym selfie is actually like appropriate to use.
That's what I'm gonna start telling people. I'm gonna just take pictures at the gym and be like, let's get you my next job.
And then me and Oliver and Andrea, our producers, kind of like we saw it and we've been sort of like going through this whole like quite lengthy search for to play Jackie, and we're getting quite nervous we wouldn't find someone. And then yeah, we
You saw the tweet.
I think we got sent your tape. That was the first like we'd seen of you, but I think you'd sent something to the casting directors already. But once we'd seen your tape, we then saw that picture as well that you sort of like put of yourself onto it. It's just like, alright, we're just like, oh, alright.
And what was your reaction? Were you like, yes, we found her finally, or was there a longer, audition process? Like, what was that casting process like?
It was definitely like the initial feeling of like sort of excitement, but then because it's such a sort of big two-hander role and this huge like sort of dramatic thing, we were kind of, and we had a couple of sort of hopes before, which then once we started thinking about, I don't know, we had to see that she working with Kristen, and that this was like a couple and two characters that would work together. So then we got Katy to come in and do a kind of chemistry with Kristen, and that was like, yeah, the first time the three of us were all together, and yeah, that was really wonderful because it was just, I don't know, it just felt good, and it was sort of like, yes, this is two people I would want to spend time watching them fall in love and doing crazy, dangerous things.
So, did you have to do any like rehearsal preparation with Kristen beyond just like kind of getting, this chemistry, getting to know each other? Like your chemistry on screen is amazing. I wonder if that was something you had to build to, or if that was just there right away.
I guess it's there. I don't I think it's just something that happens. I don't know. But we didn't like practice chemistry, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, it's a weird unquantifiable thing.
Yeah.
Good actors.
Yeah.
We didn't really have any rehearsal time, to be honest. Like aside from that chem read, in the room, and for that we were just looking at a couple of scenes, like sort of them having breakfast together and the argument. But beyond that, it was, we were already out in Albuquerque prepping. Like this was literally like, I'm not sure how soon it was before we started shooting, but not long.
I booked it 2 weeks before we started shooting.
Seriously?
Yeah, so I think I was like, gotta get in shape.
How did you do that in 2 weeks?
I had the muscle and it was just like gradually cutting weight, but we shot in kind of chronological order, so the composition was almost at the end, which was nice.
Yeah, we tried to put the competition as late towards the end. But it basically did mean that, like Katy just immediately had to jump into like, you obviously been doing all kind of weights and stuff anyway, and then we got a trainer, but it just immediately came out to Albuquerque. Like, let's sort out the wig, let's do the thing, and we were just going to all throw ourselves into it. But it's
The wig.
And what was your reaction to that wig?
It was rough at first, and then I think we gradually started figuring it out kind of, but that was the scariest part for me.
It was great, I think. Like I was so lucky because we had time to do like one camera test, which was the first time we had Katy and Kristen together like in costume. I think that was the first time I'd seen you in the wig, and it hadn't quite. You've got to do a bit of like sort of, so I think at first we looked at it and we were kind of like, okay.
So
Megan
the wig and the shorts, were you then like, I am Jackie, I am her?
Yeah, that did help, because normally I would never wear anything like that to the gym, and I tried to tell Olga, our costume designer, I was like, people don't wear this in public, like it's just for like the shoots and whatever, magazine things. And she's like, but Jackie does. and it did change everything, it really did, because it's like Jackie is a force of nature. She just walks out there like, look at me, and like I got the stuff and just flaunts it, and that's, I'm covered head to toe, I don't do that, so it was a transformation.
Yeah. Rose, this is obviously like a very dark film, gross at times, it's sexy, but it also has great humor and wit, I think even just in the line deliveries and in the script, but also in like the edit and some of the scene transitions. Like, how did you approach tone in this film?
I guess it's sort of one of those tricky things like chemistry. It's a bit hard to sort of really
quantify.
Yeah, I guess it's like a thing you're sort of constantly trying to sort of weigh up and balance with sort of every decision you're making. Again, like, is this costume too much? Is there hair too much? And it's sort of, I knew going in that I wanted it to be this kind of quite heightened melodrama, sort of dark comedy kind of thing. So I don't know, it just sort of kind of comes a bit instinctually, and you're just sort of constantly weighing stuff up and being, does this feel right? And I suggested to some of these guys that they watch like, not even that any of them are actual comedies, but like I think there's sort of three, like sort of Showgirls, Crash, and like Saturday Night Fever were like three,
incredible.
Which it's not really like any of those films, I guess, but it was sort of a kind of, maybe there's like a little Venn diagram, tiny tonal crossover of like, just to sort of let these guys know that, the universe takes place in, yes, there's like some sort of like gritty, squelchy sort of realness to it in some aspects, but it's also quite, you can take some big swings and be silly.
I was going to ask what your influences were. So you asked them to watch Showgirls, Saturday Night Fever, and Crash, which is amazing. But were there any other films that you were sort of drawing from, or that you were thinking about while you were making this?
I think, to be honest, because given like the time and place that the film's set in, because like the whole sort of Americana-ness of it, there's obviously so many famous films which have, which you can sort of start feeling derivative of. So I was sort of, in a way, I was kind of more just trying to sort of bury my head in the sand and not really revisit ones like that. So sort of like pointedly like not watching film over the weeks and being like, okay, I'm not going to sort of try and not get too self-conscious about it. But inevitably, so many of those kind of films have sort of seeped into general collective consciousness, I'm sure,
Yeah.
had an influence.
Katie, I want to ask a little bit about sort of how you approach Jackie's emotional journey, especially in the second half of the film. I think after she kills JJ, it's like she's catatonic, she's manic, she's hallucinating, she's panicking. She's like, it seems like such a challenging, you're playing so many different registers. Like, how did you just approach that for yourself as an actor?
I mean, like even when I was reading it, I felt everything. It just kind of happened organically. But like I'm reading it, turning the pages, shaking. Like it's like you kind of feel it when you're there. But I also was I worked with Larry Moss. He's an acting coach, like an amazing acting coach. Within like the first 30 seconds, he had me breaking down, crying. It was ridiculous. I was like, what is this, man? But it's hard to say. I mean, obviously, I got to talk to Rose, and it helped that she wrote it. So, like, if I had any questions, we could kind of come up with answers. It's like, why am I feeling this way at a certain point? Because I want to go. I'm a psych major. I wanted to go like, okay, she's feeling guilt. This is her internalized guilt, creating this like. Blah, blah, blah. And Rose is like, well, she's also, we're amplifying steroids. it's like a psycho, it's like she's powerful and she's like losing it. So it was kind of a blend of just trying to take, what I would think a normal reaction would be, and then also blending it with also what's in the script and what Rose wants and what the heightened reality of it all. So team effort, I guess.
I guess like filming, like inevitably you shoot films really out of sequence and disjointed anyway, so that's always kind of like one of the fun, weird things of like, oh right, okay, this morning, where are we, what's happening in the afternoon, you have to jump somewhere completely different, so you're constantly having to kind of like discuss and remind yourself like the order that stuff's happening in.
Right.
Yeah. Larry had me do like little cards that were like, okay, this is what you felt the scene before, this is what you feel this scene, like whatever it is, just like a quick reminder. And I had it up like on a little board in my trailer, and then I was like, this is embarrassing, and threw it away.
Oh.
It was great though for a moment.
That's what me and Vera had when we were writing the script, it sort of makes sense, you just sort of need to, sometimes you just need like a thing there to be like,
Yeah.
Well, my assistant was in my trailer with me a lot, and I was just like, George, don't look at it. Don't look at my motion board. You're like, does Kristen have a motion board? Damn it, now I am.
Get the emotion board back. I'm wondering, like, if there were any, like, it must have been crazy shooting. Like, it seems like you had a lot of night shoots. You're dealing with all of these different, lots of blood and goo and covering Kristen Stewart and God knows what when she came out of you.
It's just egg whites.
Any like hilarious, funny, or dramatic stories from shooting that you want to share?
someone asked this for like what anecdotes you've got, and I was like, oh no. It just becomes so normal when you're doing it. It's like, oh, well, this is the bit where Lou gets birthed out of Jackie's mouth. Let's get Kristen in the paddling pool and all the stuff on her. I mean, all that stuff's just the most fun to me anyway. Like,
What was with Ed and the yogurt? That was the whole thing. People were like talking about the yogurt.
oh yeah, that's there's so many days where he never said anything, like he was delightful, but I was like social, and some days Ed must have just been looking around like, what the fuck is this? What am I doing here? But there's like one shot in like the montage where we've got this ridiculous like slow zoom in of Ed, and he's like in his trailer on the gun range. Just kind of, he was like, what am I doing here? I was like, you're surveying your kingdom, just kind of like on some downtime, but you're eating your yogurt as well. It's like, why am I eating your yogurt? You just are, right?
I mean, why are you eating the bug, Ed?
Because he was trying very hard to keep a straight face, but if we hold the shot any longer before we cut it, he's just cracking. But the goo stuff's fun. I got to put my arm down that toilet for a while. Which was, having to run around and shoot two things simultaneously, so I think Kristen was doing something else. And I had my
Oh, you were the stunt arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all very fun.
I mean, this is why you get into making movies, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like during the first sex scene, which I think was like one of my first days on set, which was really fun. It's like 112 degrees in Albuquerque at the time, and like it was just as hot inside. And the intimacy coordinator, bless her heart, was trying to, like, I don't know, put as many barriers between, you know, my stuff and Kristen's face as possible, which is, like, fair. But, like, one of the things that she did was duct tape a cutout yoga mat on me. So I feel like I'm wearing a diaper when I'm in my Daisy Dukes, because it's just this giant yoga mat. And then every time my pants come off, all of it comes off. Tape, yoga mat, the other tape she put down under, like, all the layers of underwear and crap she put down. So that was really beautiful and embarrassing.
So sweaty.
Sweaty, and just like, you don't feel sexy. And love that.
These are how these sexy scenes are made, like through yoga mat bits and tape.
Yeah, the bathroom one I had, like, they gave me a cup, like a hockey cup for some reason. So I kept asking people to punch me in the crotch.
My final question for you two is just like, and you can decline to answer this if you want, but I love the ending. I love that it's such a big swing and that we go to this sort of like cosmic fantasy land for a minute before we come back to reality. Like, what is your, you know, take on the ending, or what do you want people to take away from it? And if you want people to take away just whatever they want, you know, that's cool too, but I love it. I think it's fantastic that you just like go for something wild and crazy in this moment.
People take what they want and have a good time.
Well, I think we all had a very good time. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for this great movie. Thank you guys so much. You guys can stay here.